know what we call this in the United States? God's ketchup, right there.
I've never heard that before. I think he just made it up.
Is this how the other half lives all the time?
One of those things just never happened.
When somebody rips one, you know it, and it's not yours.
It was like Bugs Bunny when he like smelled the carrot soup.
That is the most random thing. What are you talking about?
It's impossible.
Oh my goodness.
We're back.
And with that, the start.
People don't hear the clap. They don't hear the clap.
Why not?
They don't. That's not the way it works.
Well, the way it works in my head is that we have officially begun Season 3, Tony. Saison 3.
Yeah.
Of the Over Season podcast. Welcome. It's X here with Tony, Antonino, Ayatsi.
We're in Mandaluyong.
Mandaluyong, which is a part of Metro Manila in the Philippines. And we are recording at the Pod Network. It's we're in the middle of February.
Yes, it's February.
February.
The jet lag gets you.
It
Not
does.
really sure.
It's the 19th/20th.
Sweet.
It's one of those days.
One of those. Depends on who you're talking to.
And yeah, we're very excited to be. We're going to be covering an interesting topic to start off Season 3.
I have a confession to make. First,
you do?
I do.
Is this what happens? So
Never mind. I won't.
No, I want to hear it.
No, I don't.
Feel comfortable. It's just me.
I don't know why this popped into my head the other day. Well, it was because you brought me a gift. The herbs from Providence. From your travels recently.
Okay.
And you packed it very nicely and brought it to me as you had done in the past with other gifts from your travels.
Yep.
I was in the airport in Bogota coming back
All right.
and had gotten through security, and I'm like, these European kids haven't been to an airport before. They don't know that they can't bring bottles of water through the airport and soda and Fanta and shit like that. Like you cannot. How many times do you have to go through security to understand you can't bring soda? You know what I mean? I was doing this whole thing in my head.
Yeah, like just a seasoned traveler, an over-seasoned
like these
traveler.
Kids, like, come on, like, get with the program.
So
it's been years.
So what did you do? Did you splat? Did you open up one of the bottles and splash it all over the kid, or did you tell on him?
No, I got the come here, sir. Your bag is. They brought my bag over, and they're pretty intense in Colombia with the
Why
baggage.
did you get it?
That's the confession.
You also had a bottle of water?
I had a bottle of the olive oil that you squeezed with your own hands.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
The guilt has been living within. It's been festering.
Oh,
I know.
Tony.
There was a few times I was going to pretend like, oh, that olive oil was so great.
I'm glad you didn't have to lie. We don't have to lie here. Look, the confession, it's okay.
Got to go back.
You know what? Honestly, hopefully someone
I was like, it's not soda, it's olive oil. Like in my brain, I just didn't put together that it was a liquid.
You didn't check a bag, did you?
No, I only had carry-on. That's the
Yeah.
way I roll. So I
Yeah.
couldn't even like go back and put it in the check-in or figure out something
I'm
to
going to
do.
do my very best to just let it wash away.
Yeah.
So
It still hurts me. It's like a whole liter, right? It was a liter.
Well, you know what was really cool about that olive oil was that it has such
Straight from the farm.
a unique flavor. I still have one can left, Tony.
Okay. Did you bring it with you?
Listen, what I'll do is next time
Just
I'll
fly your olive
I'll
oil?
go right to the Bogota airport and I'll hand it to their TSA.
Cool.
I'll just hand it to them and then I'll take a picture of it with myself.
What do you think they did with it?
I often wonder. Oh, so very interesting little tidbit. So I've got a friend, Ken Schindler, right, who owns a wine distribution company in Philadelphia. And he showed me such an interesting little hack. I will share with all of you. So he loves to give away. I guess in the wine trade, it's very important that people are always asking for wine keys and stuff. Did you know that the TSA has like, I'm not going to say, it might have been on Craigslist or eBay or something, but they have like boxes of things, of random things. Some are organized, and some are like just random boxes. Like you ever see like that show?
Storage Wars.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And they'll just be like lot 5, and then in some cases it'll be like box of 50 pounds of wine keys. Oh my. Ken, and I don't want to give away your hack, although I am. But I thought that was so fucking funny. So
You can go on to there's some
place
right.
where you can buy TSA wine.
It's amazing
keys.
that they go through the trouble. I kind of appreciate that instead of just incinerating them.
Well, what else would they do? I mean, I would.
They would just throw them away. That's what they would do. I remember doing a dinner in Le Manoir à Côte Saison once, and we had to ship a bunch of foodstuffs over
Let's
to
go
England.
back to this place, Le Manoir. What?
Le Manoir, the House of Four Seasons, outside of London.
Why were you doing a dinner there?
It was, I think, their some annual celebration, 25 or 35 or 150 years old.
But why did you get to cook there?
It was a selection of American and French chefs who all did a day of
cooking.
Yeah, a course or a dinner or something like that. So we had to send a bunch of stuff there.
Oof.
And like foie gras torchon and all this stuff we sent there because, days of prep to do it. Mm-hmm. And apparently it got there and they just incinerated it all. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I think we did a whole dinner. There was like a lunch and a dinner every day.
So what'd you end up doing?
4 or 5 days. I had to redo it.
Avant-garde British cuisine, just pop open a can of Heinz
No, I had to
beans.
redo the whole menu with stuff that they sourced it. They got it to me. We did it, and
And before we get into our oddities topic, this is actually an oddity that I thought was really hysterical. I remember one time years ago, we're talking decades ago, back when there was still a dream of working as a chef. Remember you did that tasting for Star? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And you were supposed to only use things. They were opening a new restaurant. I wonder what that new restaurant would have been.
I don't know if it was
might
a
have
new
been
restaurant.
Dandelion. I think it was Dandelion that they were opening or something.
Could have been. I'm trying to remember the menu right now.
But remember so you went through and did a tasting menu for like 5 people or something.
Well, I remember. It's coming back to me. They didn't really give you any indication of what style. They were just like, come cook for us. And I think they did these a lot. Like just to kind of have that's how they kind of collected resumes, right? Come and cook for us and see. So it's like you're supposed to do your cuisine. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really.
Right.
Is it a steakhouse or is it a chowder house or is it a bistro? What is it?
Yeah, you're like, what's my cuisine? My cuisine is a half-eaten ham and burr sandwich.
Yeah. And so I'd done this menu. Elements of it are coming back to me, but I can't remember completely.
Well, the thing that I thought was funniest was that I think you had done some sort of thing with duck confit, but you used
that's right,
duck confit that they had within the restaurant,
right? Because I'm not going to make.
And that
duck
was
confit.
the one critique you got that the duck confit was like overcooked,
a little salty.
It was salty,
a little salty. And I'm like, well, it's the
duck confit you guys got.
You did the tasting in one of their restaurants,
right?
And they would source all the items. You didn't show up with all the stuff.
Right.
They would like have the things for you. You didn't have to bring your own carrots, for example.
Right.
And duck confit was one of the things that they said was too salty.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad that you're out of those days of just people like judging you over like the food that you make when all you're trying to do is, it's like how many?
It just didn't, that situation by itself just didn't make sense to me because you can go so many different directions. I didn't have like my style of cuisine, Right. I guess he's very much more chef forward
these days.
Right, but when I was working at the Charlie Palmer Group, we had many different concepts that you'd work within. So it wasn't, like this is an expression of myself,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, are you hungry? Are you hungry? Because I can.
Right. What are you in the mood for?
Right.
Yeah.
I can get that done. No problem.
Exactly. It's funny to me. It's funny. I'm glad that you didn't go into some like deep dive into like, this is my life through 5 courses. And then,
probably would have got me the job.
You think so?
Could have been.
I'm glad you didn't get the job because I probably never would have seen you again. Right. That would have been it. But so interestingly enough, so we're in Manila as we've mentioned, and
finally feeling good. Finally got over the jet lag.
Finally
3 days.
caught up. Yeah, it takes 3 days to just start feeling normal. Although I feel like I'm underwater.
Yeah,
right
your
now.
brain kind of stays squishy, but at least you got some sleep.
It can't be good for you. This can't be good for us.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess, right? But like,
you get used to it. You adapt and thrive, and
yeah. When you fly across the world, something happens where your innards, like there are little cues. Like, for example, this morning on the way down to the gym, I looked in the mirror to, the customary, like,
checking yourself out.
How many pimples do I have? What's my blackhead inventory right now? And I'm going down the the elevator, and halfway down the ride, as I'm looking at my face in the elevator mirror, I noticed that it felt like I needed to pass out. Just like a half a second where I'm like, glucose monitor goes off. Like 0.2 seconds of I could sleep right here. And then I'm like, everything's fine. But I feel like, those little cues is...
It's hard. You're definitely kind of around 2 p.m. here. Your brain doesn't quite know what to do.
It's hard to process data.
Yeah.
It's hard to focus. And all you want is coffee and sugar.
Yeah.
Maybe
we're in the place for it.
Maybe that's like the Manila vortex. Like, the Bermuda Triangle. It's like the sweet triangle, the Ozempic triangle.
Lots of sugar here.
Yeah.
In things.
I'm craving it. I'm craving some sweets.
Really?
I also...
I know what I wanted to ask you about.
Yes.
Did you notice at the buffet this morning?
Okay.
Have you had this? God, what's the name of it?
What's it look like?
The chocolate pudding.
Oh, God.
The chocolate pudding with the fried dealies?
Oh, yeah. I didn't see it. I always get a kick out of it. But so here in the Philippines...
Chocolate?
It's champorado.
Champorado. Yeah.
Champorado. So here in the Philippines, there's wow. Oh. In the Philippines, I mean, it's a very varied, and I would say it is exotic, the food here. There are some flavor combinations that are just majestic. It goes way beyond having traveled the world. There are combinations here you won't see anywhere else. It's like if Fear Factor and I don't know. It's
as soon as seafood is involved, it can get weird.
So let's describe this. So champorado is like a chocolate rice porridge, right? It's like a pudding. And listen,
sweet-ish. I didn't try that chocolate. I didn't try it. Have you tried it before?
Filipinos love it. I have tried it.
It's a breakfast dish.
It's
even more to add to the oddity.
Yeah. So it's like so a Filipino back in the day woke up and said, "I'm really hungry for some chocolate pudding," right? But you know what would really set this off? Some dried little fish. So it's chocolate pudding with little dried fish. And, I feel like Filipinos love it. Do you guys love it? They don't care. I guarantee if I brought it up, they would they probably do handstands for it.
They
Flips.
have it at the buffet. Like, it's common enough to be at a buffet at a hotel.
Yes.
And we've seen it often enough around there. Every kind of different fish head type things, too.
Yeah, I mean, the Filipino, it makes sense.
The
You're
fish
surrounded by
are
water.
small and they're dried, and sometimes they're even slightly candied.
Yes, I've had a little
it's almost like a little bit
dealies.
So it's almost like a little
crunchy
seasoning, right? It's not like
muldon.
a big piece of fish on top.
It's Poseidon's muldon.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
It's...
you put salt on a chocolate chip cookie.
That is right. It's an accentuator. It's a garnish. Sure. But, so you saw some champorado and you didn't have any. I
was running around and I forgot to mention to you we should try a little bit, but we got to the buffet very late. So
I'm glad you forgot.
Everything was closing down.
I'm glad you forgot.
There's always
I've actually
tomorrow.
tried it. So Emerita, one of our shoebox team members, she loves champorado. She loves it. And I think she actually gets a kick out of non-Filipinos that she's around, including like her husband. I think she gets a kick out of seeing the reaction of
It's a very
her
odd
eating it.
combination.
It's an
you know?
interesting one.
Yeah, that's kind of the max of common. That's
the max?
That accentuates.
That's your limit?
That accentuates like how crazy it can be. You know,
Yes.
chocolate pudding with fish. Nobody would put that together who hadn't grown up having it.
Well, these beautiful Filipinos, they are into crazy, right? And as was exemplified by our dinner the other night. So the other night,
I can't even remember. What do we have?
So we went to Summer Palace, which is a fantastic Chinese restaurant that's in the
Shangri-La.
in the Shangri-La of
Shangri-La
Edsa, which is pretty close to here. I'm thinking. Anyway, so it's a big, beautiful hotel. It's a big, varied menu. We had all kinds of interesting and delicious foods. I mean, classic Chinese foods. We had the biggest dim sums I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
they were like
massive.
Cupcake sized. Yeah. Like I had to take a fork to it.
We did.
Usually, I feel like a dim sum is like a little, a little friend, a little dumpling, a little.
Right.
It's a popper. Mm-hmm. This was a considerable.
Right. Like the overstuffed sofa.
It was like an American.
Yeah.
It was like an American dim sum. You know what I mean? Like, and so we had dim sum. And what else did we have? We had some hot and sour soup.
We always get Peking duck.
Peking duck was very good.
The hot and sour soup had good flavor, but there was squid in it.
I'm cool with the squid.
I'm cool too, but seemed like it was just very lightly. There was still a lot of
crunch to it.
Yeah.
I think what threw me off about the hot and sour soup on this experience was there was a little touch of funk in there.
Like squid?
No, I'm cool with squid. I'll eat squid in any
like
one of its iterations.
It wasn't like it was a little bit raw.
So hot and sour in Asia.
But it couldn't have been raw. I mean, they were cooking it in
was
there.
Hot,
but it had the texture of being kind of...
Dude, there was all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah,
and
it was
I stopped
different.
looking. I feel like there's all kinds of things in there. Like this is the kind of hot and sour soup. Like, so you think hot and sour soup, the classic hot and sour soup from the U.S., it's like a little tofu, sometimes got a little pork in there. Mr. Enoki mushroom might show up, and it's like a sour, kind of spicy, gelatinous broth.
Yeah.
In this case, I was like, I remember taking a little whiff of it, and I didn't want to, obviously proclaim this at the table, but I got a whiff, and I was like, that smells like a seafood walk-in, right? And then I was like, then I started like stirring it around because it was hot and I wanted to get in there. And, I'm stirring it around. And every time I stirred it, there was like a different little creature.
It's amazing how different. I thought in the States you get hot and sour soup, and it's the same hot and sour soup no matter where you go, by and large.
Yeah.
It's
like, and it goes to show you how basic we are, I guess, because
we've had hot and sour soup twice already
all over
here,
the world, and
several times here, and it's been complete. It's had some variety to it.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
So this one, as I was giving it the old cool down shuffle, I saw something that looked like what it could be an eye, just like a floating eye,
like a fish eye.
Yeah.
Or like a octopus tentacle.
No, it looked like the soup was looking back at me, and I was like,
you just chose not to tell anybody else at the table.
Why would I ruin your guys' experience? I mean,
so you
obviously,
can have a little chuckle to yourself.
Obviously,
slurping it down.
You had undercooked calamari.
It wasn't undercooked though, so I couldn't quite understand the texture. You know
maybe
what I mean?
This is a confessions episode because you confessed that the hard worked. Me and a bunch of where are they from? Not Pakistan. Bangladeshis. Squoze this olive oil. Hopefully somebody's enjoying it. But I think it looks like at the same table, 4 Americans compartmentalized their hot and sour experience. And I wonder if the other 2 people at the table also found something weird in their hot and sour and just chose to keep it to themselves out of respect. That's the American way, or actually that's the British way.
One good thing about this, we did find Chinese hot mustard.
I don't think that was hot mustard, though.
I think it was, what was it?
I think that was Grey Poupon with water in it.
Really?
Yes. I think
I actually didn't taste it, but I looked. It just didn't come up. But
So
I was
we-
like, oh, we finally got Chinese mustard because we always ask for it.
So let's say oddity number 1. Chinese mustard
Hard
is
to get.
called Chinese mustard.
Yeah.
It is like a go-to in the American, at least the American Chinese restaurant lexicon of
Except whatever's in
flavorings.
those packets. Who knows what's actually in those mustard packets?
everything but mustard.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it should be called. But so
Yellow,
yeah,
yellow food coloring and
I know.
something spicy. And
JFK is coming after that one too, or RFK. So anywhere, even at Yang Sing when we were in San Francisco and we had our own separate dim sum experiences. It's one of my favorite parts of it. It's like it's the wasabi of the Chinese restaurant, and everywhere in the U.S., at least in the U.S., if you ask for mustard, they have it, and it's like a nice little sinus reset, which I could use.
But they had it at Yang Sing.
They have it at Yang Sing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's on the table.
Okay, gotcha.
Ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And then you go anywhere at least in the Philippines.
Well, different
so far.
countries have different ways they deal with hot sauce in particular. Some just don't. And some you ask the same restaurant 3 different times, 3 different ways, and they say they don't have it, or they bring you a bottle of Tabasco, right?
It's always Tabasco.
But then you ask the right person, like, oh yeah, we got the stuff. So somebody's having it. Somebody in the kitchen or something has some like special hot sauce that they make.
Yeah.
But they don't, it's not advertised. It's like deep.
It's interesting. So
I'm always surprised about the places that are hot that don't have hot sauce, because I just feel like Mexico has hot sauce everywhere.
Mexico, yeah.
Get a little sweat going, a little breeze
Well, I
cools you off.
think you'd be surprised at the places that don't eat hot. Like, for example, in Puerto Rico.
Really?
There's not hot sauce really on the menu in Puerto Rico. Like anywhere. It's just like not part of the cuisine. So even mild hot sauces, a la Cholula, they're too much for most Puerto Ricans. And in Spain, there's no hot sauce.
That's true.
There's no hot sauce.
What would they must do some kind of little chili thing sometimes.
The closest they'll do is guindilla, which is like a little baby dried cayenne. And they do like to do a whisper, like a hint of spice. Like, so most al ajillo, like shrimp al ajillo, or gulas, which are like the eels, in a lot of the cooking, and a lot of the fish also, like the whole fish, they'll get olive oil shimmering. Oh God, every time I think about olive oil, just a small part of my heart just dies.
Sorry.
Thanks for being honest though, Tony. It would have been really sad if down the road
it's so embarrassing because I was like making fun of these kids in front of me, and there was like a whole bin they had of like other people who brought liquids through, and they're like, these retards.
How long ago was this?
I mean, the weekend you gave it to me.
I wonder if there's like a lost and found.
Let's check it out.
Who
knows what other kind of fun things we could find
I would
there.
certainly go try to find that. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. But like, so you get the olive oil shimmering, and then there's these little baby cayenne peppers, and they'll throw it whole into the oil to just like infuse, and then they'll add the garlic just to like slightly caramelize it, and then let's say it's shrimp al ajillo, you add your shrimp in after that. And then they'll toss it around just enough to barely cook it, and then put it in like a little sizzling skillet thing, right?
With garlic.
It's essentially garlic, salt. If you want to add parsley, then you're fancier than most. And then, but it'll be literally like the size of a Tic Tac, right? That one pepper makes it into the olive oil, and then that's what the spicy is. And everybody's like, what is that? And you're like, it's called chili, right? And then everybody's like, but that's all they can handle. The running joke in the Basque Country is that if you want something to be too spicy for somebody, just add raw garlic to a dish, and then it'll be too much. But anyway,
I thought they would have gone for the raw garlic. I thought there's a lot of dishes that have like a heavy, not a heavy amount, but you taste the garlic.
Garlic is quite a thing, of course, in Spain and in the Basque Country. It's almost in every, but it's usually cooked.
Okay.
Usually. And then there will be some dishes, for example, like olives Donostiarra style, which is fantastic. All kinds of olives from around Navarra. So there's black ones, and there's, some of the like softer, butterier ones. And anyway, what they'll do is they'll toss that in pickled garlic that's just been pickled in like apple cider vinegar or red wine vinegar and a ton of parsley. And then it's really nice. It's super like crisp and refreshing and delicious. But yeah, I mean, aside from that, usually raw garlic doesn't make it into anything. Oh, another very famous raw garlic thing though is when it's tomato season, they like to get like the big, beautiful heirloom tomatoes, cut them in big, like rustic chunks. Then they'll do like a sliver, like a really super razor thin sliver of garlic on each of the little slices to just like flavor it. So, but that's as spicy as it gets.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, so we're at this restaurant, the Summer Palace. We have our questionable hot and sour experience. We have some
good dim sum. We have great
big
scallops.
ass dim sum. Oh, the scallops with broccoli.
Right. The lamb, cumin lamb, was with asparagus.
There was a cumin lamb. So we had a smorgasbord of delicious dishes. And at the end, we got
there was a shrimp dish that we didn't want to finish. It was looked like it was going to be a little messy to get into. It was head on shrimp.
It wasn't even prawns. It was shrimp. Yeah. They were like U30s.
Yeah, 25-ish.
And they were in this very tacky, like
saucy,
kind of like saucy black bean garlic stuff, and it was good. It was very, very good.
You had one?
I had a couple. Yeah, but I didn't feel like turning into a mess because they didn't like, and I'm not complaining. I kind of am. But so they didn't like give you like a little extra cut around the back to easily peel the shell off. And so it's essentially like you got to peel, and you can't peel those with your chopsticks, certainly not. And so it was just a big commitment. I think I might have been
We'd eaten a lot. It came in at the end, and
it showed up at the end, right? That's something you want in the beginning because it's like a fun, like shareable thing.
You're also more hungry, so you're gonna do the work.
You'll do the work. That's correct. So we got this shrimp. It's in this. It's floating in sauce. It's tons of sauce, and we're like, you know what? Instead of, not taking it with us, we just one of the dinner mates was going back to their apartment. And we're like, hey, wouldn't this be nice to like give to your door guy, right? He'll love these shrimp, especially like some rice and whatever. I'm sure probably made somebody very happy. But the funniest part about these wild Filipinos is they wouldn't pack it for us until we signed something. And we're like, what the hell is this all about? I had no idea. They're like, well,
it's the first time anyone's ever asked us.
That's
well, I guess it might be the first time
First time I've ever seen this in my life, Tony. We've eaten all around the world. Has anybody ever? So he comes back with a one-pager that had all kinds of interesting information, which I'll let everybody know.
It didn't really tell you what to do with it. It's like, make sure you refrigerate, nothing like that. It's like, if you
check this out.
Get sick.
This is fantastic. So this is the Shangri-La Manila indemnity form, food for takeout. And it says, I acknowledge that I have requested Shangri-La Manila to pack the following leftover foods to be brought outside. And then here it says swahe, which I believe is shrimp. And it shows the table number we're at. And it says, note, cold items such as cold cuts, salads, soups, and certain desserts such as custards, ice cream, and sherbets, hot food items with cream or coconut milk, and all seafood items cannot be wrapped for take home. Interesting. So he broke the law already. Then it says hot food items must be maintained above 63 degrees Celsius, while cold food items must be maintained below 5 degrees Celsius. All food items must be consumed within 2 hours of leaving the restaurant. Reheat hot food items at 75 degrees for 15 seconds. Then it says, I fully understand that the hotel cannot be held responsible to whatever conditions may result from the consumption of the above-mentioned food items inside or outside of the hotel premises. Then it says, The food items were packed in either carton box, plastic container, foil container, or other. And it says, signed by Vince the waiter, approved by whoever this signature is, and then I signed it.
That's what they had, a manager
There's like a
signature
manager on
and
duty.
the server signature, and then your signature.
What a fucking... I mean, this poor
Just think
server.
of what would have had to happen in order for them to be like, you know what, we
Something
need a
must
policy
have happened.
for this.
Yeah,
you
something wildly
Something probably
inappropriate
several
must have
times
happened. Yeah.
to them, because we haven't seen that before.
I've never
It's
seen
not like
that.
it's something that they do in the restaurants here normally. Because we'll get food
Here
It's
or in the world. I've never seen this.
I haven't had either.
So I think that in a subsequent episode of Overseasoned, we're going to do a whole... I like this.
You like what?
I like that they make you sign off on something. I think it's beautiful. Like the next time somebody decides that they're going to get a well done steak, I think it should come with like a sign off clause. Like, since you're ordering this, you're responsible for it.
If you don't like it.
And maybe like a picture of the cow. Like this soul was sacrificed for your poorly cooked steak. You know what I mean? Like, let's just take this all the way. I believe that there's something there where, you know what I mean? Like if you get like a salad and you ask for extra dressing,
And then you don't like it. It's
yeah,
too wet.
right. Yeah, there's too much dressing on this. Of course there is. You already signed. You already signed. You know what I mean? The indemnity agreement. I love that.
So they get charged for another one? Is that what would happen?
It just means that it's
You don't have to take any shit at that point.
no,
You're like,
right,
well,
exactly.
Yeah, I know.
You did
did
it.
it.
Yeah, this is your fault.
I have it right here. Here's a paper. Here's your signature. You did this.
Right, exactly. I think there's something to this. But so in the year is young, we're mid-February, and I think we've already seen to-go indemnity agreements. We've also seen big problems here in Manila when it comes to like getting things. For example, we went and got Korean food and
with making little suggestions that go away from the normal.
yes. So
Well, okay, you always ask for more kimchi, so you would know we go to Korean food quite frequently.
we
There's
love
a
Korean
huge
food.
Korean population in Manila.
There is.
Apparently, that's where
And it's
a lot of
delicious.
Korean families will send kids to learn English.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Sure. So there's a lot of great Korean restaurants around.
Yes. And it's one of our favorite things to do because
It's like you're cooking a little. It's enjoyable.
it's great.
There's
Yes.
a lot of things.
There's all kinds of little what are they called? Banchan.
Yeah.
So as soon as you come into a Korean restaurant, there's a list of different beef that you can get, and there's rib fingers,
Marinated chicken or
Yes.
mushrooms or vegetables, whatever, and then
all kinds of fun stuff that you eat on the grill. Some are marinated, some are marinated in gochujang, which is like their fermented spicy chili
barbecue
paste
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they'll bring all these different banchan, which are these little side dishes out. And
We have like a little kimchi, a little just a little bit different.
They'll have like
Little bean sprouts.
yeah, little like mung bean sprouts
Yeah.
with sesame oil. They'll have sometimes little potato salad.
Yeah.
They'll have like little pickled daikons. They'll have all kinds of different things that are supposed to accompany. They'll have lettuce leaves, so you make your own fun little tacos with the grilled meats. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a little make your own adventure. But I don't think they believe me, trust me, or understand when I say I really love kimchi. So we literally got to this place.
It's not the first time that's happened though.
It happens every time.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure.
Because
if
the little
there's
dish has kimchi in it. It has like a certain amount
3
of
leaves.
kimchi, right?
3 leaves.
And that's most people don't use it as a appetizer, right? They just want a little bit.
Yes.
But I get, we'd asked the guy 5 times.
We literally
us more.
asked 5 times. Then we asked somebody else. So we sit down, and before we order, I literally said, hey, I really love kimchi.
Let's get this out of the way first.
Yeah.
Let's just bring me a bunch. Let's set the
stage.
Right.
Let's set the stage. And maybe they didn't understand. Maybe you have to go, many kimchi, big, ha ha, ba boy.
No, ba boy.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know how to, or a t-shirt that shows me like at a trough of kimchi or something, right? But every time we're like, hey, I really love, like, they could bring nothing else.
Things that deviate from the norm are somewhat difficult to articulate.
Yeah.
Right? It's like there's a conveyor belt.
Like Chinese mustard.
Like what? So you've asked for this, but then there's also a chain reaction of like we ask let's set the stage. Like Philippines has somewhat inexpensive labor.
Yeah.
So restaurants will have a great deal of that
team
inexpensive
members.
labor to accommodate staff. So there's very often an army of people bumping into each other all over the restaurant because you can just fix those problems with more employees.
It's often that in the culture, instead of saying like, hey, maybe we should get a POS, or hey, they're just like, hey, add a runner, add a server, add a busboy. Right. Yes.
So there's people bouncing all over themselves at the restaurant, and everyone has a very specific task.
Yes.
Like you can't just ask somebody for extra kimchi and they go back into the kitchen and get it. They must. Right. It has to go up the chain of command.
Right. There's like a SOP.
Right.
For like we also went to another dim sum restaurant, another great restaurant. Remember?
The first night?
The first day, the first lunch. And I don't know if you noticed, but depending on whether they were soup dumplings or it was shumai or xiaomai, I'm not sure how to say that right. SIAOMAI.
Oh, the shu pao.
So see, there's all kinds of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you noticed, depending on the dumpling that came out of the kitchen, they would bring those stacks of like the bamboo little, steamers. And there was one person dedicated to all one style of dumplings. So they would come out with the stack and drop it at the table. And so literally it was one person's job to do one dumpling at a time, like out throughout the dining room. Did you notice that?
I did not.
Case in point that maybe what we're doing is we're breaking the chains too much of.
Well, you don't know. Here also you'll ask whoever comes to, we're used to like whoever comes to your table is there to serve your table.
Right.
But here they have one job. It's to drop that thing on the table and leave. But if you ask them, hey, can I have a Diet Coke? Coke Zero, Coke, whatever it was.
Yeah, Coke Light. Coke Light or Coke Zero, right?
When you say Diet Coke, they have no idea what you're talking about.
That's correct.
Coke Light. They have no idea what to do. They say yes. They say okay. But then they have to transfer that information to somebody else, or may not, because they didn't know what you asked for.
Right.
But they say yes, okay. So it ends up being that you're asking 10 different people for a Coca Light.
Or kimchi.
Or kimchi.
Or more kimchi. So in this case, we straight up asked for kimchi 7 times.
Yeah.
And we asked for kimchi. And maybe, I don't know. We had Filipinos at the table with us.
Yeah, he was
that also didn't quite understand why it was so hard to get more kimchi, because he wanted more kimchi. So anyway,
and it was funny to me how you always ask for more kimchi, as we said, and this has been somewhat of a standard request when we go out to Korean food, and you're like, just give me a big plate of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But they won't
pay for it.
But they won't do it. They just bring
the
small amounts in the. So then they brought out like 6.
Yeah, finally. As soon as we're done eating, too. Like we were done, and all the kimchi comes out. And we're like, oh, okay. Very interesting. They're always also super perplexed by the fact that we don't want rice.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Rice is a staple. Rice, I feel like rice is the main event in most cases here. And they're always taken aback by our ricelessness. But anyway, some other interesting topics. Some other oddities that have happened so far this year. So I was in Alba, Tony. I went to Alba with
look at you,
our friend Ronaldo Sanders
last week. Yeah.
Going to visit Barolo for the first time, which was beautiful. And we had missed truffle season by like 10 days. But I thought it was odd that there was not a dish with truffle on it. They only do white truffles.
Okay.
So I just thought it was odd that in my entire European trip, which was a little bit of London,
They didn't do black and white. They
didn't do any. It was just done.
Oh, because white
The season was over and truffles are done, gone. You're not allowed to have it. No more.
That makes sense, though. This is what they do
It
there.
makes sense, but I did not expect to go to the land of truffle and literally where you walk through the town of Alba and it's like pharmacy, wine store, truffle shop, eyeglass vendor, 7-Eleven, truffle store. Like every fourth shop in the entire city is a truffle place. But every restaurant we went to did not have truffle.
They must have sold truffle products.
They sell truffle products.
Okay.
They sell, truffle pate, truffle puree.
But the restaurants didn't
truffle
have.
carpaccio.
They're
It was
like, if
done.
we don't have fresh white truffles, that's it.
We don't have
it's
it.
over.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I'm not disappointed.
You kind of sound disappointed.
I was disappointed. I was sad.
Well, but if they're not around, they're not around. What are you going to do? You're not.
Fake it for me,
Well,
just
why?
like every other restaurant.
They're not there.
I know, but how could you? It's like going to Disney World and you don't see Mickey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It feels
Missed it by a
gypped a
week.
little bit.
Yeah. Got to go back.
Got to go back. It was a great time.
But there were no black truffles.
There were
either.
no black truffles.
That was counter to what their philosophy was on.
So it's interesting walking throughout the city. They have these posters of the 7 different types of truffles that they grow.
7 different kinds of white truffles?
Not whites, but 7.
Did you take a
different
picture of the poster?
I do. Yes, I'll have
Oh.
it. So I thought it was interesting. Like they're very truffle centric.
Well,
There are truffles.
it's a huge part of their industry, I would imagine.
Yeah. So there's 7 different types of truffle, but they only sell the whites. I just feel like, I don't know. I was not expecting that there wouldn't be one option of truffle. Yet, as soon as we left Alba,
So wait, the 7 different types of truffle, there's white and then black and then...
there's like different genus and species of truffle, a variety.
I mean,
I'll
I
show
get
them to you
that,
at some
but
point.
yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that they would all be in the same place. All those different types.
Maybe they're not. Maybe I mistook it. But I
I'll
just
look at it.
I just thought it was really interesting that in the home of the truffle, I've never seen so many truffle stores. I've never seen so much truffle things. But they decided that it's kind of like truffle nuts.
I'm sure you really had to slum it from that point, right? There's no truffles
Well,
available,
then,
so...
yeah, I certainly did have to. You know what they do have a lot of?
What?
Vitello tonato.
Ah.
And I think that's an oddity.
That is for sure an oddity.
So vitello tonato, for those of you who may not know what vitello tonato is, it's a classic Piemontese dish. And
I mean, what's the difference between that and chocolate pudding fish?
That's what I'm saying. It is an odd dish. So vitello tonato is, let's say for all intents and purposes, like similar to roast beef, except it's veal. It's like a cold cut.
Mm-hmm.
So like a roast of veal that's very thinly sliced. Excuse me. And then it's kind of like almost carpaccio or laid out on a plate. And then they make this very tuna-y sauce. It's like, I love tuna.
Canned tuna.
Canned tuna, right? So it's canned tuna, olive oil, capers. Here's one of them.
It's like bracing. It's very... Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Oh, so the veal's like...
So the veal was
ribboned
like
on top.
draped over top. Everybody's got like their version
Sure.
of vitello tonato,
That's a
right?
beautiful dish, though.
Dude, and so I fell in love with the dish. I love tuna, as you would gather. I love tuna. I love carpaccio. It's just such an interesting
You're not really
combination.
sure who the star of the show is. Is it the veal or is it the tuna? Because the tuna is so strongly flavored and the veal is so mild, but it seems like what are you supposed to concentrate on that dish?
I would have to. I mean, it's tuna. It's so tuna
Right.
heavy.
It's tuna
You
flavor
could use
veal.
chicken. You could use turkey. You could use any protein you wanted, and the tonato sauce is the star of the show.
Yeah.
You could invite tomato sauce to any party.
You got to look at the history of that dish because it's such an odd. It's not even by the water. This place, right?
Check it out. So I can't read Italian. So these are 5. These are the 5 different truffles that grow in Alba. Interesting, right?
Tartufe bianchi i neri.
Yeah, they're
Neri?
like i neri, I guess. Yeah.
Oh no, this is like fresh and conserved truffle products. Sapore della terra. I don't know what that is. Colore di truffle. These are like truffle products, not different varieties.
Oh, they're not? Okay. No. Look at the bottom. There's different. See that?
Oh,
Keep
yeah.
going to the left and right. There's like 5 different truffles.
Scarzoni.
Right. They're like
Nero
the genus.
Piemonte.
There's like the genus and species of a variety of different truffles.
Nero Intervale. Wow, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
Bianchi, there's even 3 different kinds of white truffle.
There's 3 different kinds of white truffle. That's what I'm saying. So I'm in the freaking. I'm in the Jerusalem of truffles. You know what I mean? And there were no truffles to be had, Tony. It was just odd. It was just odd.
It's a product that has to grow. If you don't have it, it's not there.
You ain't gonna hook up like a little, like
someone doesn't have one laying in the refrigerator or something.
We had to leave. I had truffles in London. I had truffles in.
But dude, it's like going
truffles
to
in Emilia Romagna.
Yeah, but it's like
I
going
had truffles.
Go to the vineyard and say, "Where's the grapes?" The grapes aren't growing all year round. You know what I mean?
I just thought it was weird that in every other town, I had truffles in Barcelona. I had truffles.
So they were all around.
Every other fucking place I went to, I had a truffle dish, whether I asked for it or not. I had truffles in Rome.
They're lousy with it.
And then in the place of the truffle, I didn't have a single truffle dish.
They sold them all. That's the way it goes.
They export them all? I don't know. I felt a little gypped. I had a fantastic experience and I loved it. I just thought it was odd. What else is odd is the milk thing in Italy.
The way it's just
They
out.
are. So no, they.
With the cappuccino, you mean?
Yeah.
Not afternoon or something?
It's like the gremlins of coffee. You know how the gremlins
turn into something.
As soon as you feed Gizmo after 11:59,
But there's a history
little
to this, right?
green.
So you can't get a cappuccino after lunch or whatever, right? But isn't there a history that was... You told me this one time.
I know. I've gotten...
Like the milk goes
I've
sour.
asked 5 people, and I've gotten 5 explanations.
Yes, that's Italy.
And I've gotten 5... So the guy... I met this really cool Som. His name's Louis. He was a New York Som who fell in love with a Brazilian lady who was moving to this town. I think it was called Piacenza. And he ended up becoming... He was our server, ran a fantastic wine program, really cool place. And I asked him, I said, what's up with this coffee thing?
Do you want a cappuccino at dinner? Is it something you want?
Do you?
Or
No,
you're just curious?
no, I don't. I don't even get milk in my stuff
You're just going to get
usually.
to the bottom of it.
Why? Yeah. It's like, why? We get so much pleasure in saying no? Is that what it is? Like, it's just milk.
Right.
And your coffee, Italians, let's just be honest here. It is so fucking roasted. It's like the only place on earth where I actually want the milk. Like, the espresso is so roasted to a damn pulp that the only way to get...
Colombian with your,
coffee.
Yeah.
I like good things, Tony.
Yeah.
And look, is the espresso fun in Italy? Did they invent it? Yes. I'll give you guys that. But your coffee's shit.
Whoa.
Let's just fucking call it is what it is.
You got no truffles and your coffee's shit.
Where's the
milk?
Yeah.
Can't wait to go back.
Exactly. And then as soon as I ask for milk, I'm getting the stink eye with your fucking over roasted coffee.
Did you ask for milk?
Fuck out of here. I did one time.
And they said no.
Just to see the reaction.
You're just poking the bear.
I was poking the bear. But I think it's funny.
So
It's
what
like-
was the reason?
I've gotten 5. Okay, so here so far are the list of the milk oddity of Italy. One was that all things dairy, this one person said, all things dairy are a breakfast item. It's just breakfast.
Except for cheese.
Right. That's exactly what I said. I said, oh, like pizza? And he's like, that's different. I'm like, why is it different? Because that doesn't have dairy on it. I've never had a pizza in Italy that didn't have cheese on it. So
He meant liquid milk products, I'm guessing.
right, because yogurt is a breakfast item,
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whipped cream?
You know what? Baseless.
All
This,
right.
this man is living in a world of fantasy.
What's another one?
So the other one I got was Italy, most of the country, Italia, right? Is, you know, it's a country of laborers, and it's a country of farmers and stuff. And in most cases, especially, you know, in the early 19th century, I'm sorry, in the early 20th century,
What are we talking about?
in the 1900s and so on, it wasn't normal to necessarily have refrigeration in a coffee shop.
Yes.
Right?
This is the standard. This is the answer that I've heard.
So the milk delivery would come, and then by the afternoon, it was like, you know, it was starting to curdle and separate and stuff, and it just was not meant to be served. But I've asked Italian.
Or they use it up. Or it's gone.
Or it's gone. So why not say, you know, we're not a third world country anymore. We're not a fourth world
how
country
these
anymore.
traditions get made. This is, you know.
Italians love their traditions, and as they should.
We have our own traditions, I'm sure.
What are our traditions?
I'll think of some. Keep talking.
Okay. No ice cream before. So, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. So then I asked Louis, our server and sommelier at the restaurant we went to, which, dude, was the best meal I think I've had all year so far. What a fantastic meal.
Really? We gotta dig into that one.
Osteria Fratelli Pavenze, I think. It was such a ridiculous meal. It was great. But I asked him, I said, so can I have a cappuccino? And he's like, house rule is not allowed to serve it. And I said, why? And he said, milk is for breakfast. And I'm like, okay.
That doesn't necessarily mean you're not allowed to serve it. They're just making...
No, well, he said they won't, like, he'll get in trouble. He would get in trouble. He's like, I'll make you a cortado on the quiet, but I won't make you cappuccino.
Really?
Yeah. So I just got espresso. It's normally
Italians can be especially hardcore in
Yeah.
their food beliefs or food traditions. Like some eat pasta every day. No. They're hungry. They're starving unless they've had pasta that day.
Dude, another oddity that I experienced. Do you know, like, so we went to this restaurant called Roscioli, right? It's like a very famous Roman restaurant, beautiful wine list. It's like the place to be seen. It's the place to eat Italian food. They have all the classics: carbonara, cacio e pepe, amatriciana, which is what I got. Bro.
Pasta?
Yeah. I got, yeah. It was fantastic. I had such a good time. Did you know that al dente?
They take it they make it hardcore.
Oh
yeah.
my! I figured. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm a cultured, world traveling lover of food. I'm like, yeah, I want an al dente. What I didn't realize is their al dente is like black and blue steak.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, when you like check your pasta, dry pasta, just to see where it's at, and you're like, that needs like 4 more minutes. That's what they served me.
Really?
Did I eat it? Yes.
It wasn't quite crunchy, but it's definitely like sticks in your teeth. That's
How
what
about
it means,
this?
right?
How about this? If I got served that anywhere else on earth,
You would have sent
I'd
back
say
the pasta.
I would have been like, yo, this is a new pasta cook. Like, they fucked this up.
Huh.
But I'm in the bastion of
This is how it's done.
cuisine.
Right. You're learning. Like, this is what al dente means.
And dude, I straight up was like, I looked at Ronnie and I'm like, bro, this is like al fucking dente. Not al dente. Not the al dente I know. It was like, dude, so you get a ring of pasta, right? You would think al dente is like the very center. Mm-hmm. The very center is like a little touch. Like a whisper of chew. Mm-hmm. This was like medium. It was like the whole, like if there's 100% of pasta, it was only cooked halfway through.
Wow. I wonder if it was I mean, the pasta's fresher there, or at least not dried out for so long.
Yeah, yeah.
But still, you felt it was uncomfortable. Uncomfortably firm. Uncomfortably al dente.
Yes, it was.
You didn't enjoy your dish.
It was oddly al
But you
dente.
loved this restaurant, but you didn't enjoy the dish?
So, you know what Ronnie got?
Wait, weren't you saying it was your best meal?
It wasn't this place. This is
Okay.
Roscioli we're at now.
Okay,
Which
gotcha.
every person who loves food and has been to Rome and is, a lover of restaurants, it's like on their top 5 list. Like, it's a great place. Don't get me wrong. And there were dishes that blew me away, including this incredible, like a prawn, like a langoustine tartare with, let me see if I can find it. There was this langoustine tartare that had bottarga and also had cheese. Fucking liar. That guy. Dairy. It's only for breakfast. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so this dish is a really beautiful dish, and it's like a paradox, right? Because it's fish and cheese. Oh, so here's the. I wish I would have taken a bite of half of a piece of.
So
Is that pacari or rigatoni? I'm not sure.
It's like a rigatoni-ish.
Yeah, so I should have taken a bite in half so you could see how not cooked it was. But then this dish, which was beautiful, was okay. There it is. So it's a prawn or langoustine carpaccio.
Well, it looks like there's like a creaminess. What's that held together with?
It's over top of buffalo mozzarella from Campania.
Okay, got it. See, then the
Super
bottarga is
creamy.
Bottarga is usually tuna roe, right?
Tuna, yes. I
this
believe
is very red, or is that just the photo?
it might be. No. That's what it looked like.
Huh? They like shave it tableside kind of thing.
It came like that. It came right, or it smelt sometimes. I feel like
Could be. Yeah.
Smelt.
Some kind of fish.
Yeah,
Some kind of pressed fish roe.
dried pressed fish roe. It was such a fantastic dish, but it's also another interesting thing
I
because
would not. That's such a crazy
mix of flavors, right? Because
flavors and textures.
fish.
Flavors I kind of get, but the textures seem like.
So what was really cool about it? So the carp, and it's finished with this beautiful olive oil. Oh,
I'm sorry.
God damn it, Tony! I love you still. Do you think that right now that lonely leader is like in some odd? I'd love to know where this thing was. I should have put an air tag on it. So what's cool about this dish? It's really super fresh mozzarella.
It looks almost like a puree. I mean, it looks.
What's the one that's oozy with burrata?
Yeah.
I think it was burrata. So it's super sweet and creamy. It's topped with super sweet and super fresh langoustine tartare, and then topped off with the bottarga roe, and then with the olive oil. It was just a really great combination of flavors. Sweet, creamy, beautiful texture. It was really, really cool. That was a great dish. But yeah, it was just odd to me what al dente really meant, and to me, it meant raw.
So they give you the option though. You could have it al dente or American style, cooked to shit. But they asked you.
On the menu, it does say that al dente means al dente here. I just didn't know what al dente meant.
Okay, so they didn't give you.
Okay, so check it out. It says Roman classics: cacio pepe, amatriciana, carbonara, la griccia di Stefano, which is rigatoni short pasta tossed with crispy pork cheek, pecorino cheese, and roscioli pepper blend, gnocchi. But then on the top it says, our pasta is cooked al dente. If you like the pasta to be cooked more, do not hesitate to ask at the moment of the order. Thank you.
So you could ask.
I could have said, can you cook my pasta? I don't mind a little toothsome. I just don't want to feel like the line cook fucked it up. But maybe I've just been wrong this whole time, Tony, is what I'm saying.
I think that's what they're saying.
Anyway.
Well, we're going off to Bangkok tomorrow.
We are.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
I'm so excited.
Never been there before. I've been to Thailand for a wedding once years ago. So I didn't really get to get in there on the restaurant scene, right? I had to go do the events and all that kind of stuff. Like there's an island and boat and all that kind of stuff. So Thailand is a beautiful country, but I have not had the chance to I don't want to expand beyond pad thai. You know what I mean? That's like my go-to neighborhood Thai dish.
My two favorite dishes I mean, I love pad thai. I think pad thai is delicious. But my two favorite dishes have always been lab, which is like the
Minced
pork
lamb,
or
right.
or beef. That's like it's almost like it's like finished in like a fish sauce vinaigrette with like thinly sliced cabbage and thin red onions, and it's like a super crunchy, almost like
really bright flavors.
yeah, it's like if Hamburger Helper and tartar had a baby with a salad, like a carpaccio. It's all of those things, and it's delicious. It's limey, it's protein heavy, it's crunchy. I love that dish. So I can't wait to see what it's like.
I haven't
in
really
Thailand.
had the chance to even really mentally prepare for this trip, so it's going to be really great to go there and just have a little break from work.
Tom Yum is going to be another one.
Soup.
The soup with like the shrimp and all that stuff.
Sure. That has never really excited me.
It hasn't.
No.
It's like, it's...
But let's go to the source. Let's try it.
We're definitely going to try it.
Right.
And the last one is they are... you know what? I'm starting to get really excited. Thailand, aside from the Wild Wild West and America's Heartland, the only other place that I ever think of when I think of beef jerky is Thailand.
Really?
Dude, they have like they do hot beef jerky, fried beef jerky. They do like beef jerky salads. I'm gonna fucking go wild.
All right.
I'm trying every beef jerky that's ever been beefed or jerkied. Starting tomorrow. I can't wait, Tony. And then fish sauce. We're gonna try all the iterations and flavors.
Find out a little bit about it.
Yeah. Super
how they
excited.
make it. I didn't think about going to a fish sauce like manufacturing place, but maybe we can see what we can see. I'd love to see how they do it.
As long as we can go in there with masks,
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm sure.
I agree. All right, cool.
I think it's going to be an altogether amazing olfactory experience for you in general.
I think it's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
And you know what? Hopefully this little cold I'm working through can last just a couple more days.
Nah.
I'm here to experience, see, and smell it all.
Get that rigatoni al dente. Let's go for it. Let's do it like the locals do it.
Let's fucking bite our way through life. So thanks for joining us on the Overseasoned. Season 3 kicking off. We're super excited to be sharing our trip with you, and we will report back shortly from Bangkok.
Right on.
Let's see what oddities we find there.
See you there.
Overseasoned Podcast was brought to you by Over Easy Office, outsourced bookkeeping solution.